All right. Good evening. I used to be a radio show host with WDRBmedia because last year I went to now, so I did start to working on this topic for dementia. Even though my Godpa is not got dementia issue, but somehow inspired me to get into this topic. And September 11 is around the corner, so we start with um, interview with the former Secret Service agent. We also connect the September 11 CF testing with dementia for prevention. So today we have a guest from Bobby. Bobby has been being a healthcare worker with the dementia for a long time, and we will try to have some information from her. And today she's gonna share about the topic about high and seek. Bobby, why don't you introduce yourself?
All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Bobby Haig, and I have worked with the Ombudsman's office. I had a 6-year stint as a director for investigations and inspections of assisted living facilities. I've actually worked as a CNA with people with different stages of dementia. It's something that's near and dear to me, working with senior citizens. It's something I continue to do. I work with another organization called Medicist, where I help get free medicine for individuals. So if it has to do with senior citizens, generally I'm involved.
Yeah. It's right now the world has a 55 million dementia and 5 million for USA, and then about 300,000 in Taiwan are not for dementia population. So I want to talk about the dementia impact. So you want to talk about the topic today is about the high and seek. So we want to hear us about your opinion about the high and seek. It's fine.
All right. Hide and seek is something that people with dementia tend to do. And it's ironic because the client that I have, she stayed up all night last night for me to find her. So if I look a little tired, it's because I haven't been to bed. But people with dementia tend to want to hide stuff. They seem to be afraid that people are going to take their items. So they hide them, but 9 times out of 10, they don't remember where they put them. And sometimes it may take you a long time to find one. I had one client didn't find an item for a whole year. So you have to be very aware of this so that you know what you have in certain areas. If you're used to putting your watch on top of your dresser, you may want to put it somewhere different, because if they find it, they're going to hide it somewhere else. One thing that they like to do is hide their shoes. So you may want to keep a pair that you don't mind them hiding, but then keep the other pair or other shoes maybe in your room or in a closet that can be locked or whatever. Things that you don't want to have disappear and not be able to find need to be under lock and key. In my case, I lock all medicines. I lock all items of cleaning products, anything that might be detrimental to the patient, mainly because they have no idea, or they generally, once they've gotten to a certain stage of dementia, they have no idea how dangerous it can be. I usually try to equate them with like a 5-year-old. 5-year-olds are very curious. They're inquisitive. They want to find out how things work. So that's the way I try to explain to people. Look at them as maybe a 5-year-old. Good example. Don't want to get in the shower, but once they get in, then they don't want to get out. But the hide and seek is something to be really aware of, especially if you have family heirlooms or things that are important to you, papers. Don't leave them where your family member that has the dementia can find them, because they have no idea of the importance of that piece of paper or that heirloom. All they see is something that they like, and they want to hide it in a place that they feel it's safe. Keep in mind too, they will hide things that are not good to be hid. I had a grandmother who used to hide food. So we had to watch her all the time because we didn't want to have roaches in the house. So hiding food is something that they tend to do. So try to make sure that you watch them when they're eating. I generally sit with my client the whole time through the meal. And as soon as they're finished, I take the plate and put it in the sink. I don't want any leftovers or anything that they could actually take in their hand and put in another location. My grandmother hid some mashed potatoes in a headboard behind some books in the headboard of her bed. It wasn't until they could finally start smelling something, and later on, they had been there so long till it stripped the varnish off the bookcase. So they will hide stuff, and you have to just be careful. You shouldn't have to stand there and watch them every minute because they do deserve some privacy, and they do deserve your respect. These are people who have lived generally a nice long time, and they deserve the respect that we should give them. They're up in age. Generally, their grandparents or aunts or uncles or someone that's a senior, and we don't want you to treat them like babies. We don't want you to treat them like they're inferior or talk down to them. But you still have to be able to watch them closely enough to kind of detect their habits, especially the hide and seek habits. Otherwise, you're going to be looking for things forever. The one thing, depending on the stage they're in, all sharp objects, scissors, knives, should be either kept in a locked drawer or kept in an area where they can't get to them. Not that they would hurt someone else, but they might hurt themselves. So those are the things. But like I said, hide and seek is just a form of expression for this person. They can't express themselves. And to them, oh, I see something, I like it, or I see something I remember from my younger days. Whatever triggers that emotion at that particular moment, they're going to take that item and they're going to try to put it in what they consider a safe place. Well, their safe place could be in the refrigerator, could be under the bed, it could be anywhere. So you need to just be careful when they're not being observed. I know you can't be there every minute, but when they're out of your sight, try to remember what was in a particular spot. Well, wait a minute, there was something sitting there. What was it? Oh, my watch was there. Now I got to figure out what she did with my watch. So the best thing to do is not put things in a place where it's going to tempt them, because that's not fair to them either. That you're actually putting something in a place where they are going to be tempted to take it and hide it.
So, what do you think about the hide and seek? There will be interesting to do a hide and seek. Is that because of medical condition for them? And
well, now the thing about it with hide and seek, that doctors can give medicine for different things. There's supposedly all this medicines to help with the memory and all. But until they can actually observe the patient and that they are being monitored on whether it be a quarterly basis, monthly basis with a psychologist or someone that understands dementia, you don't know how that medicine is going to react with them. We're finding with the client I have now, the medicine reacts differently depending on the food that they're eating. If I give them the medicine at nighttime, the nighttime dosage, and it's something that's spicy, it won't work at all. I mean, we're finding this out, but the only way you find out is through trial and error. So I know that I could give her mac and cheese, but I wouldn't want to give her a spicy pasta or anything like that, because anything that has any spices in it, we're finding it counteracts the medicine and the medicine's not working. So a lot of times it's going to be trial and error with medicine to help them with things. But there is memory medicine that she's getting. But right now we're thinking that it may not be strong enough because she's been on it for a while. So it may be that they need to get a stronger dose, or maybe they need to just discontinue it altogether. So she has an appointment on Wednesday, and the evaluation will be done to see where she is now and what they need to do, whether change medication, increase medication, or delete it altogether. But the memory loss part, the hide and seek part really isn't a part of memory loss. It's more of, I'm trying to salvage the little bit of memory I have. I know people seem to think that my client, when she has her head down, her eyes closed, that she's asleep. And I told her, I've always told her sister and different ones, watch her fingers. What she's doing, she's tapping. When she's tapping her fingers with her eyes closed, she's concentrating and she's trying to catalog what we're saying, because she doesn't know where to put it in her brain. So she's tapping her fingers, and that tapping motion is what they do to tend to help them try to figure out, where do I catalog this knowledge that I've just heard? And that's why it's not good to speak around dementia patients about anything that might upset them.
Right.
Because even though you don't think they are understanding, they understand to a degree, but they just have to figure out how to process it. So when they're processing, seeing something, just like with animals that see a shiny object, they want to take it and go hide it. It's the same thing. I see something, I like it, I remember something about this item, but right now my brain is not telling me what it is, so I have to put it in a safe place until I can remember what I'm supposed to do with it. That's just the way that their brain is working at the particular moment. They have a strange feeling about that object. For some reason, they're drawn to it for a reason, or it reminds them of something from maybe their childhood or when they got married. A good example, sometimes they will take wedding rings off of a dementia patient's fingers because they're afraid they'll lose them. But they'll put them somewhere where they think they can see them, and sometimes that's not a good idea. Right. Because when they see them, that triggers the wedding, it triggers, oh, wait, husband or whatever, and then they're going to try to take the rings and put them where they think they should be safe. Right. So it's nothing wrong with taking them out. And I want to do a session on actually called memory box. You can put them in their memory box, but you don't want to leave them out somewhere where they could possibly take them and hide them.
So you think like a memory box, you're not trying to keep them away, you just try to lock them?
Well, see, this is it. That could be another whole session on memory box, because there's certain things that should be included in a memory box, and things that you shouldn't put in a memory box. So we could do a whole session on just the memory box, because it's important that you at least work with a client with a memory box at least twice a week. More often if you have the time, but at least a minimum of twice a week, you should be working with the memory box. What I do with mine, we do memory box on Wednesdays and we do memory box on Sundays, because Sunday afternoon is a quiet day for us. But Sundays and Wednesdays are memory box day. And the memory box comes out and we go through the memory box, and in the memory box is also a memory book. So like I said, we can do a whole session on that, what needs to go in the memory book and what needs to go in the memory box, because that could take a little bit of time. But anything of value or anything that they might feel is important to them that you think they might hide, you really don't want to leave it out in the open.
So you never find them if you put them away, right?
Yeah, just put it away. And like I said, if it's something like wedding rings or whatever, and you don't want to leave them on their fingers, put them in the memory box so that they can see them at least twice a week, or whenever you're going to, the days that you set aside for memory day. And you work with them with the memory box. One session we'll do, I'll show you another, I'll actually show you one of the things that we do with the client. So there are different things to help with their memory, because they can go a long time without having to be classified as Alzheimer, as long as you work with them and their memory. But you have to have the time and the patience to work with them. Now, the thing about it, as a caregiver, if you don't have the patience to do this, then you need to hire someone, because it's not easy. And if you get frustrated easily, all it's going to do is cause the patient to become frustrated. And that's not going to help their memory any.
Right.
So if it's good to want to be a caregiver. Don't get me wrong. It's nothing wrong with wanting to be a caregiver. But if you don't have the patience to deal with it and to work with it, you need to hand it off to someone who's qualified to do it, whether it be a CNA or another friend or relative that is more qualified to do it, a nurse that may feel better handling it. But don't make yourself feel bad, but oh, I couldn't take care of mom or daddy or whoever because I just didn't have the patience to do it. Everyone is not cut out to do this. So don't feel bad if you can't do it. Just find someone that can. That's the first thing I want to tell people. You know, the reason I have a job is because they hire me because they don't feel comfortable doing it.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It takes patience, and if you don't have the patience, don't try it because it's gonna upset you when they decide that they want to snap at you or they want to fight you or they don't want to listen and all those different things. It's because their memory is not working like it should. And this is the one thing, if they were I hate to use the word violent, but let's just say when they were teenagers or growing up, they were one of those troublesome kids. Then when they get into the dementia, that's generally what's going to come out. Okay.
About that childhood kind of thing, you know, because your trait doesn't really change who you are.
Well, basically what it is, they're reverting back to that era in their life. So if they were a tomboy, if it was a girl and she was a tomboy and she wants to, you know, go out here and rip and run and you can't catch up with her, you know, don't feel bad. She's reverting back to what she felt comfortable doing when she was younger. And if it's that boy and he was hard-headed and wanted to do what he wanted to do and went out racing cars when he wasn't supposed to and different things like that, those things trigger and come back into their remembrance. And you think they're being belligerent or disobedient or what? It's just that's the way their mind is working. So if you don't have the patience to deal with it, because I can see people, and I've seen it, they get frustrated and then they want to argue.
Yeah.
Arguing does not work. All it does is make them more stubborn.
Right. Exactly.
So the best thing to do, you talk in a soft, even tone, even to the point. I say, if you have to be monotone, do it. I don't like monotone speakers because they put me to sleep. but if you even have to be monotone, that's fine. Just be even keel with your speaking. Don't raise your voice. Don't get angry or upset with them. Don't be combative. Even if they want to fight, you step away. When my client decides she wants to swing, I just step back and I let her do all the flailing that she wants to do. And when she finishes and calms down, I say, okay, now we can continue what we were doing.
All right, thank you. Now is about, we're gonna talk about some other topic next time. Bobby, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you.
All right, and I thank you for having me, and I'll see you next Monday.
I'll see you next Monday. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you, Bobby, coming to our show, talk about dementia today. So you're gonna sharing about the dementia information for the next Monday. And basically, and also we're gonna have the following up for the Trinity.org. It's gonna from our sponsorship and Thai Scan Group. So check out our Trinity.org and petition. Try to help with our women's scan with them for our program. Look forward to see you next Monday. Have a good day.